Hey everybody, it's time for chapter 23 of Alienated, so on with our story. We're going to do today a little bit differently. I'm actually going to split chapter 23 into two different parts. So we're going to do part 1 today, it's quite a long chapter, and then on Monday, the next video will be chapter 23 part 2. Before we start, as always, I want to do a quick shout out. This is actually a quadruple shout out. It was going to be just to Lucy and Sadie in Los Angeles, but I thought I would include their parents and my very good friends, Andy and Steph. I thought you guys would like this chapter because it's all about the movies and our shared love of movies. And in fact, we all met in a weird way from our shared love of the movies. So this is called Stranded at the Drive-In, chapter 23, Stranded at the Drive-In. I basked in the glory of Juliet's yes, but I still had to get through the week. I distracted myself from the excitement and nerves of my first ever date by means of a full schedule of daytime classes and nocturnal rocket building. The ship was really coming together, and despite feeling sleepy during the day, I was even keeping up with the alien subjects. Well, most of them. My academic black mark was galactic languages, Gal-Lang. I had no ear for earthly foreign languages, let alone alien lingos, but our teacher, Mrs. Rackles, sure did. She looked like a giant green ear, a large audio receptor on 4 legs. She was patient with me as I butchered verb conjugation in dozens of alien languages, only once muttering, "It's only Earthlings that expect all aliens to speak their languages." Sonia was a star pupil in Gal-Lang. Maybe it was her years of Balleropera training, or maybe it was a natural talent, but she picked up the galactic slang like a local, effortlessly reciting poems in foreign tongues, while the rest of us struggled to say, "We come in peace." I did, however, find my footing on the football field. Octo was a sharp shooter when it came to throwing the pigskin, and Atoi had clearly put out the word that I was not to be maimed. So I caught the ball with panache and made spectacular touchdowns. Did I mind that my on-field prowess was only due to an alien protection racket? Nah, it felt great. For once, Sherman Capote was the guy that everyone wanted on their team. Dad even stopped by between meetings one day to watch part of a game. I was pretty sure it wasn't a figment of my imagination when I saw him nodding from the stands when the final whistle blew. He wasn't clapping, nope, but he wasn't shaking his head in frustration either. It was progress. So, by Saturday night, date night with Juliet, I was actually feeling pretty confident. Like me, the drive-in pulsed with anticipation. It was a Groom Lake tradition, and almost everyone from school was there. But unlike the cafeteria with its strict social hierarchy, this parking lot with a view was a free-for-all. Rows upon rows of personal space cruisers, winged jetpacks, and the occasional military jeep faced a large white screen propped up by 2 adult-sized Ajabats. Octo had parked Hank's Toyota for me smack dab in the center. I waited anxiously for Juliet to materialize beside me and watched the Groom Lake kids let loose. A couple of xenophile reeds were playing frisbee, a gaggle of Martians arranged lawn chairs on top of their low-riding saucer, and the Ajabat kids danced to the beat of their own techno. Atoi was there, holding claws with his scorpion companion in what looked like a missile on wheels, if Ferrari made missiles. It was definitely date night in Groom Lake. The sweet scent of frying onions and roasting hot dogs from the concession stand at the back wafted over the coupled teenagers, hoping to make out in parked spaceships. I even spotted Sonia's eggcraft a few rows in front. She sat cross-legged on the roof with Houston, and I wondered if they were on a date or just here as friends. I thought about going over to say hello, but they looked like they were having a good time, laughing and talking, and didn't need any Sherman interruption. Besides, I had to stay on target. The truck's clock read 1958. My heart started to pound and my palms got sweaty. I tried to sink out of view as Jessica and her prom committee crew strolled by, munching on hot dogs and chewing on gossip. "Look at my poor loser brother," she said. And then she sang a song I recognized from mornings waiting for her to stop using the shower as her private rehearsal space. Stranded at the drive-in, branded a fool. "She's materializing at 8, okay," I said. "Now grease lightning out of here." "What will they say Monday at school?" "You have ketchup on your cheek," I lied, but she swiped her face anyway. The whole gang mooched off, chuckled at my comedian sister, still singing. I would have drowned her out with some Foo Fighters from the radio if it hadn't been for the glow that suddenly flickered on the dashboard. I checked the clock. 8 o'clock. Exactly on time. I hadn't seen Juliet materialize since she was late for drama class that first day, and this time I was much, much closer to the action. Her spherical blue cloud, so bright I had to squint, zapped into existence right above the passenger seat. The hairs on my arms and the back of my neck stood on end. The cloud grew arms, then legs, and then the little cardboard air freshener tree hanging from the rearview mirror started spinning like crazy, until finally Juliet was right next to me, floating an inch or so above the seat, looking perplexed by what she saw on the screen. "I didn't think movies would be this interpretive," she said quietly. I followed her confused gaze to the white screen. It hasn't started yet," I explained. "Don't worry, we're not here to watch a white rabbit running in the snow." "Though that does sound lovely," she said with a smile. "I can't believe you've never seen a movie before," I said. "My parents are very traditional," she said, "but I want to experience everything that the universe has to offer." "Well, I'm glad your first time will be with me," I blurted. I can still remember my first movie. "Was it the White Rabbit one?" "Gorgeous. And a sense of humor. What's not to love?" "I was 6, I said. "We were on the base in South Korea. The Air Force got a print of the original Star Wars, not the so-called special edition ones with all that phony CGI, and not the silly prequels, but the classic and the best." I was rambling, powerless to stop myself. Star Wars had that effect on me. Or perhaps it was Juliet. The 4 of us, my family, went to this Art Deco cinema, and it was packed. All of the adults had seen the film, of course, and they wanted to take their kids to see it on the big screen. I don't think I blinked for 2 hours. It's probably what got me interested in space, and building rockets, and... I was totally geeking out, drooling over Millennium Falcons in front of an alien who spends every day in thousands of worlds. "Sorry," I said, "it probably sounds silly to you." "Not at all," she said. "It's sweet. I didn't get to do those kinds of things with my parents. They were always away on icon business. I was pretty much raised by my mentors. My parents seem to be more interested in the universe than they are in their own daughter." We had more in common than I'd thought. My mom and dad were away a lot too, but usually not at the same time, and now it's just my dad. "Is it your mother's turn to be away?" I didn't want our date to be a downer before it had even begun, but I didn't want to lie either. My mom was a nurse in the army, and she was training a whole new special hospital of nurses in Afghanistan, and well, she's not coming back ever. "I'm sorry, Sherman. I sometimes take for granted that we're immortal. So you'll never lose your parents?" "No, but they're gone so much I sort of feel like I already have." The air was heavy, and I needed to change the subject. Luckily, the drive-in lights dimmed and the sign projected on screen telling us to tune our radio to AM 590. I fiddled with the Toyota's digital tuner until the cab filled with static. "Are you excited?" I asked. "I love it, actually," she said, as the 20th Century Fox drum roll escalated into the familiar fanfare. "I've never seen a monument to giant numbers before." "And it gets better," I said, as the film began. Juliet was immediately transfixed by the sound and images, staring at the screen like a glowing blue statue. But I couldn't shake the feeling that once the lights came up, she'd just say, "Thanks, good night," and that would be it. I needed to impress her, roll the state into the big one, prom. So, by the time Jeff Goldblum realized the alien signal was a countdown, I was feeling a little panicked, worrying about the future here on Earth, not about the aliens on screen. I nearly jumped out of my seat when Octo tapped on the open window. "How's your mojo, Romeo?" he whispered. Juliet, luckily, was entranced in movie land. I double-checked and then consulted the cephalopod. "I don't know, she's kind of in her own little world over there." "Will Smith has that effect on the ladies," Octo explained. "It's universal." "You think I should put my arm around her?" I whispered back. Octo pulled an "Are all Earth kids this dumb" face, and then he ticked off a list with tentacles. "Popcorn first, then arm, then snuggle, and then maybe smooch," he said. "Are you new to this or something?" I was a complete rookie. I was way out of my league. Popcorn. It's the one thing Juliet had asked about. I'd people-watched, I'd yelled at Jess, I'd even stared at the stars, but I'd completely forgotten to buy popcorn. Dude, Octo said, noting the absence in the truck's cab. Seriously, you need to score the corn. It's how your tentacles touch for the first time. Fingers, I corrected him. No, they give me indigestion, he said. Anyway, the way it works is you watch the movie. You both go for a scoop of the salty stuff, and then you make first contact. You both pretend it was an accident, and you have a little standoff, a kind of are you or aren't you going to pull away? But it's just a game, because you both know where scooping salted kernels would lead. You do a cute little embarrassed giggles, and then you catch each other's eyes, telling each other, hey, it's okay, I'm in this tub of buttered corn with you, baby, and we're in it together. And then, and only then, is there snuggle potential. Wow, I said, how do you know all of this? Ancient wisdom, dude, he said. Only once you get an arm around her can you go in for the smooch. Otherwise, she'll see you coming a mile away. You've got to flank in from the snuggle. Could you get us the popcorn? I pleaded. For someone in the same species as Darwin, you don't know much about natural selection, do you? I shook my head as Goldblum tried to convince the skeptical and surprisingly youthful president to evacuate the White House. You getting the popcorn proves to Juliet that you can provide for her. It's simple hunter-gatherer stuff. She's in the cave. You're out hunting the woolly mammoth. It's natural selection, dude. And you want Juliet to select you, don't ya? Naturally, I said. He was right. I had to hunt the mammoth. Bring its hide back to the cave. I'll get the corn. Be quick, Octo whispered. And just remember the code. P-A-S-S. Pass. Popcorn. Arm, snuggle, smooch, I said. Octo slinked off between cars with a gyroscopic tentacle shimmy, and I leaned in towards my icon date. Juliet, I'm just going to pop out and get the popcorn. Go! She shouted, without taking her eyes off the scrambling White House staff. I wasn't sure if she was talking to me or to the president's soon-to-be incinerated lackeys. Either way, I was going hunting for my cave girl. Okay, we're going to stop there. That's part 1. We'll do part 2 on Monday. And so I want to wish everybody a great weekend. Stay safe, stay inside, take care of one another. Hope you're enjoying the story. And if you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you soon.